Hello everyone, and thank you for joining in. I am Kumarjit Mazumdar. I head the sales and strategy for RMSI Croplytics, and I'm the host for the session today. RMSI Croplytics is a geospatial analytics organization which kind of works on a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and advanced modelings to basically provide insights to a lot of players in the agri value chain. The topic for today's podcast is about a very important industry in the agri value chain, and an industry which has revolutionized agriculture not only in India but globally. Yes, that's right. We are talking about uh, the farm equipment industry and focusing on tractors today. This podcast will be in two episodes. The first episode, we will be covering a little bit about the background. We'll be talking and understanding about what's been happening in the tractor industry for the past 2 decades and what are the real time challenges, or not, let me not call it challenges, or let me call it what are the real time experiences or the real time understanding of running a company which is actively involved in manufacturing and selling farm equipment. That's the first part. And the second part of this podcast would basically cover about the way forward and how do we scale from where we are. And to speak about this industry and its current dynamics, I have with me one of the stalwarts in this industry who spent more than about a couple of decades. I'd like to introduce and welcome Mr. Arvind Kumar, the former business head of Force Motors, former CEO of Tringo and Lemken, and has spent his career on agriculture. Just to give you a little bit more about some of the achievements that Arvind has had in his illustrious career. He has been conferred with Flame Leadership Award in 2019 by Rural Marketing Association of India, and has been recognized for his efforts which he has made in the field of rural marketing initiatives. Arvind, thank you for taking out your time and joining us today.
Thank you, Kumarjit, and really appreciate the introduction that you did. Greetings to everyone. As far as my journey is concerned, I would say with confidence that it is a complete farm mechanization journey with a portfolio of experience. Kumarjit, I graduated in 1985 from Punjab Indian College, Chandigarh. And since then, I am actually in the agri field only. So it's almost, you can say, 36 years of experience in this trade. I still remember that I joined my first job as a trainee engineer. And after just 3 weeks of my training, this was with HMT, they were looking for the people to work in the design department as they are coming out with some changes in their existing product portfolio. So our entire batch has moved to the design department. Even they didn't ask our preference. So you can say that it was just an by chance that I started my career with as a design engineer. But this really helped me out in understanding the product very well. So from design, then I moved to sales and marketing head in a company called Samet Deutsch Farm Limited. Before I took over the position of MD and CEO of Lemken, and this was basically a project management for me, which I was doing for the first time, and very exciting and challenging task for me. And later on, I steered a startup which is called Tringo. It is a 100% subsidiary of Mahindra and Mahindra, and the objective was to do the Uberization of farm equipment. I think it was a wonderful startup which we did, And idea was to provide the solution to those 80% of the farmers who can't afford to buy tractors and implements. So I think with this, I have a chance of working with tractor industry, working with implement industry, and then even starting a startup where I provided the solution on pay-per-use basis.
Amazing, Arvind. I think that's goes to show the real diversity and the intensity with which you have invested in this industry. And I think your experiences and what you shared today will be of a lot of value to whoever is listening to us on this podcast. Arvind, with your experience that you have spent, let's go back to time. I think if you could just help us, understand in the last 2 decades, like say 20, since 2000 to 2022 or 23, where we are, like last 23 years that you have spent in this industry. What do you think were the key highlights or like the game changers or those moments where you felt that the industry has gone from one leap to the another? Like, would you like to call out some of these incidents that you may have kind of experienced yourself?
Yeah, sure. I think I will address this question in 2 different steps. Number one, let's take the period of 2000 to 2010, right? That period is normally is being referred as the consolidation period, because there are 3 important milestones which has happened during that decade. Number one, there was a lot of consolidation among the manufacturers. So TAFE took over Eicher. That was the one major event which has happened in 2000 to 2010. In the same period, Mahindra took over Swaraj. So these 2 companies, after become number 1 and number 2 in the industry. The second important milestone which has happened is India took over as the world's largest producer of tractors. Till 2000, the industry size was close to 1.4 lakh units, and this is the period only when the industry moved from 1.4 lakh to 300,000 units. So that's a third milestone which has happened during 2000 to 2010, and a lot of other manufacturers they also plan to enter into the Indian market. For example, John Deere, New Holland, and many other multinational companies, they also came to India. 2010 and till 2023, I would say that this is actually the growth period. So this is the period when we were having 16 domestic players and 14 multinational companies. So all put together, there were 20 leading tractor manufacturers in this period, and the industry size has tremendously gone from 400,000 to 900,000. So you can say if you evaluate the growth, so the industry has really grown up from 4 to 9 at a CAGR of 8.5%. So tremendous change which has happened in the period from 2010 to 2022.
What I understand, Arvind, is that so basically, being the largest in tractor is no surprise because of the sheer volumes that India has as a country in terms of agriculture and the numeric farmers that we have and the farmland that's available. And what I understand from you is that from 2010 to 2023. The industry has been growing leaps and bounds, and consolidating on the platform that it has built for itself in India. So that brings us and sets the context brilliantly for the next part of our conversation. So, being in this industry for 20 years, can you just tell us a little bit about what you feel are, basically the key stakeholders in this entire ecosystem? What are the real triggers? What has been happening on the ecosystem front, on on the numeric companies, like you mentioned, about 20 of them coming into the foray. How are they, operational? Because it's a huge operation, right? Like in a country like India, where there are roughly about 70 crore farmers. How does the stakeholders manage the game? How do you, ensure mechanization across platforms? Can you share some thoughts on that?
Yes. So today, when I talk about the 20 players, so it's basically the tractor manufacturers, I would say, in my view, is divided into three, you can say, segments. One is a key player, which are the top four organizations, which is Mahindra plus Swaraj, which is a Mahindra group. Then that is number one, and they are maintaining almost 40 to 41% market share in the tractor industry, followed by TAFE and Eicher, which is a TAFE group. So they are number two, and this is followed by Sonalika, and now the Escorts plus Kubota. So this is one set of, you can say, the key players in the tractor industry who's playing a very, very major role, and they're driving the industry, they're driving the finance, they are also driving, and they're playing a very crucial role in terms of policy making also, because they have a lot of interaction with the government, and they are trying to, give them the required feedback or required information, so that the government can devise the policies accordingly. And then comes your set of multinational companies, which is John Deere, New Holland, Kubota, and Semidoit. These are the companies who already have a very, very long heritage. They are already into this tractor industry for a long. And these are the people, their entry into the Indian industry, Indian market is a welcome move, because these are people who brought a lot of technologies. Prior to that, if I talk about the tractor which is produced in 80s and all, those are very, very basic tractors. Even when I was in HMT, the tractor which we are producing was having a bucket seat, that the seat which is made of a steel panel. So now that with the entry of these multinational companies, they have really changed the expectation of the farmers. They brought a lot of technologies, and from them, even the domestic player also become very, very conscious in bringing the new features and matching the quality standards with respect to the multinational companies. And the third segment is the manufacturers who are already into some other manufacturing, may not be the tractor. For example, there are a lot of people who are already into the combined manufacturing, and then they also thought of that, okay, since they are only providing one sort of solution to the farmer, which is a harvester, so they thought of that there's a huge potential, and they can also enter into a tractor industry, and that is how Preet Tractor, Standard Combine, then your Indoform and Force Motors and many other companies enter into this segment. However, their volumes are not very, very high, but still in some of the markets they are playing a very crucial role, not on pan India, but maybe in some selective geographies. So that is with respect to the manufacturing. But tractor manufacturing alone cannot, bring the farm mechanization and all, unless there is a support from the government. And I would say that there are a lot of support from the government, whether it is subsidies on diesel or electricity, fertilizer, or there are many other schemes which has come up. For instance, you must have heard about the scheme like Pradhan Mantri Kisan Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Then ENAM has come. Then Prime Minister Kisan has come, which is called as your PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, where they have started providing some fixed amount to a small and marginal farmers who has a land holding less than 2 hectares. So there's a lot of, you can say, support from the government, which has actually been the catalyst for bringing the agri industry into the limelight. Simple reason that 50% of people are still dependent on agriculture, and there was a time when the GDP contribution of agriculture was close to 60%, and now it has come to 17, and again from 17% it has again come up to 20%. So there is a lot of support from the government also in bringing the efficiency in the system, so that the farmers can really bring the efficiency in the system, and can get more productivity from whatever the land they are holding.
Yeah, very, very insightful. So that was exactly my point that I was trying to make earlier. So one is definitely the players which have come in have brought in a lot of technology. The multinational companies that have come in. So the other stakeholders, like you rightly mentioned, government was absolutely very, very bullish about introducing farm mechanization, and they have taken active measures. But how about other players? Like, for example, what we understand in tractor is finance is a very, very important game. So how do you think that the finance policies or other stakeholders, like, for example, the financing companies, the FPO channel, how have they contributed to the growth of this sector in the last 7-8 years?
Yeah, Kumarjit, I think that is a very, very valid and important point, because you have the manufacturer, you have the support from the government, but if there is no finance, then probably the complete then it's difficult for you to close the loop. So the first major step, I think, was taken by the RBI itself, when they have mandated commercial banks to provide minimum 18% of their net credit to agri sector. So I think that direction from the RBI was very, very clearly supporting the agri economy. With that, then the emergence of, you can say, the new breed of NBFCs. For example, Mahindra Finance. They also started thinking that, okay, we should have our own finance company so that we can support our own customer. Initially, of course, the idea was to create finance for their own customers, but later on they have expanded into a standalone business. Similarly, Chola came into picture. Similarly, Shriram Finance came into the picture. Then TVS Credit also came into picture. I think those are the people who really bring a lot of energy beside the bankers who are already providing the finance. These NBFCs have also played a very, very crucial role, because if you see the industry, Kumarjit, 90% of the industry is basically being driven either through finance or through some other finance sources, because it's difficult today for the customer to bring so much of cash. So the cash sale is not more than, to my understanding, is not more than 20%. So 80% of the tractors are being financed, and if the financiers plays a very, very critical role in providing the finance to these farmers. That is how the industry has shown a growth of 8.5% CAGR from 4 lakh to 900,000.
Certainly. So now, I think, Arvind, thank you for, in a nutshell, putting up all your thoughts, which has really contributed to the growth of this industry, and in the last 10-15 years, the boost that it has seen. So in the present day, let's talk about the present day. As you have been, really being deep into the role of sales and strategy and marketing. If I were to ask you, that what do you think are the real challenges? Because while we remain bullish about the growth of this tractor industry, but what we also do understand is that, though the growth has been steady, but it could have been actually much more higher in number, considering the large market and the large farmland that India possesses. I think there is no two ways about the fact that the market should explode. We should bring in more automation, more farm mechanization, and we are just scratching the surface on that. So, if I were to look at the current business ecosystem today, what are the things, according to you, are the major challenges, and also the triggers that you feel will bring the next wave of taking this industry from where it is to another 2x, 3x? What are the challenges that needs to be addressed, and what are the basic triggers that you feel will change the industry going forward? Arvind.
Yeah. Uh, so, uh, so let me address this question in two parts. First, I will talk about the challenges. So, of course, the first major challenge, which I think everyone know in the industry, is the land holding size of the farmers. Because as I explained in my previous talk also, that 80% of the farmers are holding the land which is less than 2 hectares. I think if I can give you the precise figure, it is 1.1 hectare. So definitely a farmer who's having such a small land holding is not in a position to buy tractors and implement. Number one is the utilization of, even if he afford to buy, even if he manages from some other resources also, but the utilization of the asset in his own land is very, very less. That is why if you see the size of the industry which has gone from 4 to 9, and if I say that in the last 15 years, if I want to see which we consider as a life of a tractor, so there are around 88 lakhs of tractor which is available in the market, and these 88 lakhs tractors are sold only to primarily to 20% of the farmers, which are close to 3 crore. So it means even the 3 crore, which falls in the category of the higher or large farmers, they are also not having the tractors. So every farmer is not having. So these 80 lakhs tractors are being sold only to 20% of the farmers, and there are very small portion of these tractors are bought by the small and marginal farmers, not only with the purpose of using at their own land, but they have also bought this equipment with an understanding that this might give them another source of income, because they are using it their own land, and then they are also using those assets when it is not utilized on their land for a rental job. So most of these owners, they are utilizing these tractors for providing the rental services to other customers, either in their own village or by nearby village, and that is how they are managing. So this land holding is the biggest challenge even today. That is point number one. Point number two, we are still dependent on the non-preventable natural risk. So monsoons, whether it is a flood, whether it is a drought, that is still not under our control. We are still not being able to manage these risky situations. And every time we found that either there is a flood in Bihar or somewhere it is a drought, so the industry is suddenly showing a negative trend because of these natural risk phenomena. And the third challenge, which I would see with respect to the policies and all, I don't think we have a very clear village-specific data. Because if I want to really understand which are the villages where the number of farmers with low income or the low land holding size are there, I don't have any clarity on that until unless those data are already available in the portfolio, government portfolios, where someone can go and access this data. So this is another challenge which I can find which will lead to an adoption and all in terms of the agriculture farm mechanization solutions. So far, if you see that the farmers are mainly buying tractors, so they are already utilizing whatever the resources they have on buying the tractor, and that is why you must have heard the word tractorization, that in India it is only tractorization, it is not mechanization. So the major focus in the past was with respect to tractorization, but now the things are changing, the things are shaping very well towards the mechanization. Everyone is trying to bring the complete solution for the farmers, not only in terms of tractor, but all those equipment which is required to be used along with the tractor, so that they can provide the complete solution to the farmers. So that is going to change. If you see that today, whatever the economy is there, 80% is spent on the tractor and 20% is spent on the equipment side. But I can foresee that there is going to be change in the trend. The industry contribution, the tractor contribution, is going to go down from 80% to probably 74%, and the equipment side is going to go up from 20% to 26%. So there is going to be a change from tractorization to mechanization. That is going to happen. Secondly, there's also lot of focus and thrust from the government also, where they are trying to encourage a lot of startups. So I think startups is also going to play a very, very crucial role in providing the information or in providing the solution to the farmers. I can foresee even today there are a lot of startups which has come, but those startups are probably handling maybe one or two solution from the agri value chain, but I don't think there is anyone who can provide the complete solution, right from providing the solution for the inputs to harvesting and how to reduce the losses in the post harvesting, then the residue management. So so there's no complaint. So I can see that there's going to be probably consolidation of the startups also, because there are likely chances that maybe 2 or 3 startups join hands together and say that, okay, this is my strength and this is my strength, and probably they combine their strengths and start providing the solution to the farmer. It's going to play a very, very important role in terms of, so to summarize, there is going to be a big change from tractorization to mechanization, because the spend level is going to change. And second is there's going to be a major thrust on the startups, which government is also trying to involve themselves in providing the solution. And the consolidation of startups can also happen, which can lead to a real solution for the farm.
All right. So with that, we should bring the first part of this podcast to a closure. I think it's been a good conversation. We have understood a lot about how the industry has evolved and what it has got in store for us. So thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Arvind, for sharing your insights. We will soon come back, like promised, and we'll be sharing a lot about the way forward and what are going to be the real game changers in this industry. So if you have to listen more to all this critical information, stay tuned and join us for the second episode of this podcast, and we will come back really soon.